I'd like to talk about that a little bit because we're really talking here about building a better experience, right, for your customers. It's like, yes, sales is your, say, financial goal, but there's so much more to it when you're building a brand. So what have you tried so far to give your customers a better experience?
I think, looking at the website, I have a lot on there. I try to keep abreast of a lot of things going on. I like to have that omni-channel presence across multiple different platforms. So, we have Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram is obviously a big one as well. And, where we have a different sort of a tone and a different approach across each of those different platforms. And I think it's important to do that because not everybody's on all the same social media platforms. Some people just subscribe to our emails, for example. So I think it's important to have all those digital touch points and have that presence and just knowing, okay, this is the tone that I approach with Twitter, which is completely different to, say, Instagram, which is a lot more visual, for example. So
Mm,
I guess that the experience that we're trying to offer is not bombard or overload with content. I mean, it feels like that from this end because we're peddling out a lot of content, but it's different for each platform. And I think that's quite exciting for us because, like I said, there's people from different channels or age groups or ethnicities and sexualities and whatnot that all see what they like in the brand. And I think that's something great that we've been able to create. And I think we have to learn from this and
sure.
really adapt from, these different platforms.
I mean, some might. I mean, when I heard you say that, I was thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot of work because I think what you said, I think is really worth repeating because like one of the most like clear advice you get when you're talking about a marketing channel is to respect the channel, right? Like I think you get a lot of like cookie cutter approaches where you want to say the same thing on multiple channels and things like that. Whereas here you're really talking about, look, each channel is different, so I'm engaging with my audience in each channel in a very different way. Now that sounds like a lot of work. So tell us about, because this, I mean, this is doesn't sound like something that was born overnight, right? Like I'm assuming that you experimented and you went into it and you've clearly arrived at something that's working for you. So just talk us through it because maybe there are people here who are listening thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot. Like what should I be doing this too?
Yeah, I think for Smithers, obviously, and a lot of other businesses would set out with their particular muse in mind. So,
Mhm.
that's your ideal target audience or whatnot. And I think I set out with a target in mind, and then it's amazing. I'm like, okay, well, there's different age groups. I was sort of hoping to appeal to that sort of mature, maybe 30 to 50 and above audience who are, willing to pay for a premium brand, who understand fashion and quality and appreciate those sorts of things. And over time, it's amazing to see the different age groups really picking up on the products and what they like. And you have to adapt to that. And you'll see that
Mm,
when I show the website in the collection, like particularly in some of the colors and some of the shapes and the patterns that we've used, it's a transformation. So maybe what you set out with your intentions are going to change and move and grow over time, and you need to be able to adapt and be agile and sort of work with that. And that means across social media as well. I mean, you're going to have your different demographics on different platforms. So understand who your audience is and make sure you're using their tone of voice and specific language for that audience. And you can pick these things up on too. Like, I mean, looking at your analytics and stuff on Twitter analytics or Facebook analytics and Instagram as well. And you need to work out where your audience is, the age, their gender or whatnot, and really tune in and focus and listen to a lot of the analytics that are throwing up at you.
how do you listen? Because analytics only gets you so far, right? It gives you numbers. And I think with Facebook, you do get some demographics. But what you're talking about is a very deep level of understanding, which doesn't sound like you got it just by looking at the analytics. Did you talk to these folks or like what? I mean, it sounds like a lot of qualitative feedback too, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. There is a lot of quantitative feedback, and I think the really the qualified feedback, if you like, comes through having those conversations with your customers. Yes, that means replying to the DMs. Yes, it means being on Messenger. Yes, it means replying to tweets and answering emails. And I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. When you first start out as an entrepreneur, you're wearing 50 different hats. You're customer service, you're logistics, you're the accountant, you're in finance, you're the designer, you're all those things. So
And you're
that's
doing
kind of the
podcasts at
beauty.
10 p.m. on a Monday.
Exactly right. So you kind of are everywhere. You really do feel where people are coming from all these different angles. So you are able to pick up those things. And you have to put the time and effort in. I mean, these guys are taking the time out of their day or whatever to visit your website or send you a message or ask you questions. And I think you need to treat that with respect, and go to them and give them your time, and not always think that you're going to expect a sale or something. Don't have any expectations in a conversation with someone. Just let it flow and let it develop, and it will come over time. But just be that person there for them.
So I think this is a great point, Jake, to jump into the website. Let's. I think we've salivated the audience. I think let's say the audience is probably salivating right now, thinking, "Gee, like this sounds awesome. I want to see what he's got." So let's get into it.